Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank y'all so much for stopping by the live stream, man. It's been a while, been a few days, so I wanted to touch base. That's the reason why I went ahead and rescheduled it for today. Shout out to the NTZ crew. I hope y'all can be on here. I apologize for bouncing back and forth. Shout out to my old head, Derek Casanara. He says, Big Cal need to free up some of the Booby dolls, man. It was Booby's birthday. Booby turned 5, man. April the 12th, 2020. August 12th, 2020, and we spent it here in Manila. I'm in Manila, by the way. But all my old heads, Reginald Wallace, What Time's to Travel, Doubtful Genius, what's up? All my fourth quarter members, it's Jeff Retired. He says, earn at 8 a.m. Japan time. Yeah. Well, actually, it'll be 8:30 a.m. What's up, Q in the Philippines? Are you in the Philippines? Any new viewers and subscribers join us today? Anybody catching this on replay? The the peso is 56.86. It's still hovering around at 57, but still almost 2 pesos down from 2 weeks ago. What's up, Brent? I'm in your neck of the woods, but I'm down here by the embassy, man. At 10 o'clock, a couple of guys are going to meet they've got a new Starbucks right here on the corner of Rojas Boulevard, right across the street from the embassy in the Golden Empire Towers. We're just going to meet there for a cup of coffee, man, just to shoot the breeze for a few. What's up, Brian? Appreciate it, man. He said, I love you, man. Keep spitting the truth. Man, this Manila is something else, man. It's a lot of content here. If you're a content creator, content is at your fingertips here. I could make 10 videos a day here in Manila, man. It's always something going on. But I don't think I could live here, man. It's just too much traffic, man. I say that all the time. And I don't know, the people seem like they got an edge to them. It's tough here, man. This is dog eat dog. Only the strong survive in Manila. Right around the corner from where I am now, man, it's a beast, man. People are literally living on the street. They've taken over an alleyway and created little homes and stuff. Man, they fighting for space here. And, it's crazy, but it seems like all the women here, they think that you own them. Like, lady, I'm happy with my situation. You can't even look at them. They look at you like, oh, I'm not interested in you or whatever it is. I just get that feel for them. Yeah, Metro There it is. I apologize, man. I hadn't even added myself to the stage. Y'all can see me now. Yeah, I've got great Wi-Fi up here, man. It just went dead on me. He said I was just by that Starbucks the other day. Yeah, it's a nice looking Starbucks too. I mean, it's brand new, guys. Because the last time I was here, it wasn't there. It's right across from where I'm staying. I mean, I just walk out the door and cross the street, and there it is. Y'all can see me now, right? Give me a one. Give me a thumbs up if you can see me. What's up, confident voice speaks? I know you turned in your fourth quarter membership and jumped back on the hamster wheel. Ain't nothing wrong with that, brother. Hell, you young. You trying to get them dollars. He said, I normally stay at the Heritage when I go to Metro Manila. I know exactly what it is. That's really not that far from me. That's right up from Mall of Asia, though. Somebody hit me if you can see me. Okay. Thanks, W Secret Sister Cat. He said we can hear and see you. Well, that's good. But yeah, we got a topic today. Why are men giving visas away so freely? We always talk about this, okay, but in light of the new policy updates August 1st, and it's saying, marrying a U.S. citizen no longer guarantees permanent residency. On the video, it seemed like the guy was encouraging passport bros to go out and give away visas. And I'm saying, no, slow down. You should be more cautious in giving these visas away. Based on the horror stories that you hear about women coming over there and men running off and playing games. No one knows the value of a U.S. citizenship or visa more than those people that work in these embassies around the world. They see the extreme lengths people go to get these visas. I guess that's why they're so strict. I guess that's why the lady was so strict yesterday. It was just an opinion when I said I thought it was the Trump administration. Listen, guys, that was a 16-minute video, and people are stuck on just that one statement. I've got an opinion. You mean we can't speak freely anymore as Americans? What are y'all afraid of? He was like, man, don't say stuff like this. Don't say stuff like that. That's free speech, man. It's just an opinion. I thought that the lady was being extremely petty. Okay. First of all, she would not acknowledge the pandemic. And it doesn't matter whether you think the pandemic was real or it was fake. The lockdowns were real. Okay. And she had no feeling. She was out of touch because I asked her, I said, were you over here, ma'am, for the lockdowns? Did you see the suffering and everything that went on in the Philippines? We could not move, guys. It wasn't like in America. She's bringing her American mindset over here like, oh, it wasn't that bad. The lockdowns wasn't that bad. I literally stayed in my house for 6 months. And I just thought, in my mind, lady, you're unthinking. You have no feeling, We showed you the live birth. She said, what is the evidence of pregnancy? Standing right in front of you. Her name is Summer Ray Roach. Okay, how do you think she got here? Okay, that's all I'm saying. But most of the comments, they're saying, best of luck, keep going. But the next majority of comments are, oh, why are you blaming the Trump administration? Because I can. They blame everything on the immigrants, on black people, and everything like that, on poor people. I can. I can do it. But yeah, she was busting my balls. I thought this woman would not acknowledge that pandemic. Okay, that was the dead giveaway right there. Whenever I talked about that, she went right back to that same question. Do you have anything else, showing evidence of your pregnancy? Well, I got the letter right here. All it was, and I hate, we were in such a hurry to get here. Maryland shows me these medical records. It's like 5 or 6 pages. I'm thinking, okay, all the prenatal records is in there. We're good. Because y'all fail to realize most of y'all watching have never been to a CRBA appointment. I've been through it twice. That's my third time. I knew what to expect. But this lady, look, guys, let me tell y'all something. I've been right. Exactly. Thank you. But I'm not supposed to have an opinion. I can't blame that administration like they're untouchable. Okay. When I say MAGA, I'm not talking about Democrats. I'm not talking about Republicans because they're neither. In my mind, they're a cult. They're unreasonable. You can't reach them. So anything you say about Trump or MAGA, people lose their minds. And I got an opinion. You're going to stay stuck on that one point? That was a 16-minute video. I'm trying to tell y'all that I was disappointed. I came all that way. Everything else checked out. It's like, lady, do you really think I would? I mean, I know people do have the balls to go in these places and try to defraud the government for a visa or whatever it is, but I'm not going to do that. And y'all don't understand, they know your background. They know that I've been there before. You say, Cal, how do you know that? Because when I took my son in 2019, that's the first thing the lady said to me. You've been here before. You've already did a CRBA. She's looking at a screen. This lady could see everything about me. She's acting like she don't know nothing about me. But I'm going to move on from this because I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. But the thing that pissed me off more than anything else was when she knew that she wasn't going to, it was going to be inconclusive, which they didn't reject, it's inconclusive, they call it. When she knew that, you know what this lady had the nerve to ask me, man? She asked me, why now? Why did I choose now versus some other time to apply for Booby CRBA? Bitch, don't you realize that as long as there is no timeline, as long as Booby is under 18 years old, 18 and under, I can file that CRBA. What do you mean? Why now? Oh, it pissed me off, man. You had to been there. I spent my whole career reading people. This lady meant us no good, man. Okay? I know what I'm talking about. I'm not on here just, y'all think I'm a fool? Hey, Confident Boy Speaks, thanks for that super chat. I get to you. I'm on my phone now. She had the nerve to ask me why now. Booby ain't number 5 years old. When I took my son there, he was 9. Okay? Why would you ask me that, lady? Why now? Why are you even applying for a CRBA for her? I said, because, I had to run it down to her. I said, because Booby's a U.S. citizen. That's why. It's her right. Okay? She pissed me off, man. I'm just telling you now. You had to been there. Y'all taking up for the people. Anything, Trump can't do any wrong. MAGA can't do any wrong. So if you say anything, that's what they're going to stay on. But anyway, let's get back to this. August 1st, there's supposed to have been a policy update. Maryland U.S. citizen no longer guarantees permanent residency. Well, I don't want to bust anybody's bubble, but it never guaranteed permanent residency. We talked a little bit about this. Sham marriages have always been illegal. Marriage fraud is a major offense. But when I went back and watched the video again, it seemed like he was happy. It seemed like he was encouraging passport bros to go out and give away these visas. And I'm saying, hold your horses. Hold your horses. You don't give these visas away so freely like they're nothing. Okay? Because the U.S. visa right now in this moment in 2025 is a very valuable commodity. It always has been, though. And if you think I'm lying, all you got to do is turn on the television and they're deporting somebody legally or illegally because they either had the wrong visa or no visa at all. Thousands and thousands of people every single day. But for some reason, and we've talked about this before, but now it's in the spotlight again with this new update. We give these visas away for nothing. We give them away for a penny. And I'm saying don't do that, guys. Okay? Because I wrote down here, great sacrifices are made and fortunes are paid for the privilege of a U.S. visa. So why do men give them away so freely? Because we damn fools, number one. We damn fools. Okay? It's crazy. But the first reason I put down here was because we take them for granted. Since we have no need for them, and they're at our disposal to give them away as we see fit. There's no limit on how many we can give away. We just look at them as a gift. We take them for granted, man. You know, did y'all see the video that I did? And I was talking about the Filipino. It was a few Filipino Americans in LA that got busted for this marriage scam. They were charging anywhere from $20,000 to $30,000, okay, to arrange these marriages. Man, it's a lot of money. They made millions before they were caught. But we give it away because we take them for granted. And then, but the second biggest reason, and I'm gonna move this up, man, and get to y'all comments once this super chat gets off here. I'm on my phone. I can't do it anymore. But let me see if I can get back on my laptop. But the second reason is we're buying someone's love, man. A lot of men get to home base because of the promise of a visa. See, a visa is a very important bargaining tool. Yeah, they get the booty and they get the attention and they get the relationship because they say, oh, I'm going to give you the visa. Hold on. Oh, here it is. Sorry, guys, for that. What's up, Cisco? And a lot of guys, that's why you see them over here. The 18 to 80 blind, crippled, or crazy on canes, walkers, and wheelchairs. They've had strokes, everything you can name up. They're over here because they know they have the power of that visa in their hand. Okay, and what that means, see, the visa means one thing to you and something else to the young lady. It means a new life for her. That's what it means. He said, I thought Booby was a U.S. citizen. She's a dual citizen. Okay, Booby's a dual citizen. She's a U.S. citizen because I am. But you have to apply for it to make it legal. And I found that out in 2013 when I applied for the K-1 for my then girlfriend and my son. I applied for K-2. Well, when she got to the interview, it was like, time out. He's a U.S. citizen. You got to go through a whole different process. It's called a CRBA. It's the first time I ever heard of it. So by the time we went through that process and gave his CRBA, her medical expired. She had to take the medical again and on and on. But no, Booby is a dual citizen. This is we don't know a whole lot about what's going on. That's another thing I put down here. Ignorance. We know nothing about the visa. We know nothing about immigration because we don't care to know. You know that Shadur Sanders just suffered an oblique injury. You know that. You know that LeBron James is coming up on his 21st season in the NBA But you know nothing about immigration. You know nothing about visa. You know nothing about your rights. Okay? You know none of that. It's ignorance. Plus, we have no idea of the true value of a visa. We just think it's something to give away. That's all we know. Okay? We don't look at it as the life-changing vehicle that it is, man. It's like a magic potion. But we give it away so freely. Somebody's giving it away right now. We're giving it away to strangers. People who don't even, who are unworthy. He said, yeah, hit the like button, fellas. Thank you, Confident Voice Speaks. And I can get to your super chat in a minute. Yeah, see, we're very ignorant about that. We don't know anything. You come over here, you have a baby by a woman, you don't realize the baby's a U.S. citizen. You just got to apply for the CRBA. And this is what a lot of guys do, see. And this is what made me so angry when the lady was like, well, why now? Well, why not now? You stupid ass helper. How dare you ask me that? It made me so mad, man, because you know the history of white women and black men, certainly now in America. And for her to ask me that, that lady don't know. I followed my advice. Don't do nothing stupid. I just said, thank you, ma'am, and I put my all the information in the envelope and quietly walked out. This lady went above and beyond what she was supposed to do. She was asking some crazy ass questions to raise the hairs on the back of my neck. Like, lady, I done been through this process twice. I know you going too far, but you got these cocksuckers in the comments. They're cowards. You know, Trump can't do no wrong. All you got to do is say MAGA and they come at you. They don't know nothing, man. But ignorance is one. Another reason is, like I said before, it's like, let's make a deal. I'll give you this visa. You give me that. Or she says, I'll give you this if you give me that. Like you said, the Filipino organization, not just uh, Filipinos, but a lot of people, they sell these visas. But we're giving them away because we have no idea the true value of a visa. You know, and I know some of you guys, you have no choice. You were in the same position as me. When I bought I'd been with my girlfriend at the time for 4 years. We had a son together. I was a long way. I was 50 years old when I applied for the K1. I was 51 when it was approved. I was a long way from retirement, and you know, we had decided we wanted to be together. But I felt I knew her enough to bring her over. Yeah, well, yeah, here's the thing. This is toward the end when she, Tama Tonga, when she knew she wasn't going to approve it. And she has the nerve to look at me and say, why now? Why now? Lady, are you crazy? Because I can. Okay? Because that's my right to do that. Who do you think you're talking to? She's lucky, okay, that we're in that embassy and we're not in a regular conversation. Talking about why now? Well, why not now? That's my daughter. I want to give her some options. That's what I told her. I asked Merlin. I told this lady that. I want to give my daughter some options when she grows up. I don't want her to just be stuck over here if she has the right to a U.S. Citizenship and everything that comes with that, everything I fought for, pay my taxes for, and everything like that. You're not giving me anything, lady. That's what they think. They think they're giving you something. Lady, you're not giving me nothing. He said, wow, Calvin, the lady immigration sounds like she was really rude. Man, man, I'm going to tell you something. It's just my opinion. I've been reading people for 20 years. You know, just the vibe she was giving off with that fake ass grin on her face. Lady, I done passed every other test, and you're going to talk about evidence of pregnancy. You going to shoot me down for that? Oh, man. I was so pissed off. Let me get this letter. I'm going to show you what it says. It's a real simple thing that we have to do. Okay. It says, thank you for your recent application. It says, to continue processing, we require the additional evidence listed below. Please email the following items to, their email address. Evidence of the mother's pregnancy. Acceptable documents include ultrasound reports with sonograms, pregnancy photos, and prenatal or medical records. That's it. That's the basics. That's the baseline where you start. Okay. See, the crazy thing about these interviews, if you've ever been to one, it's not like they gave her the file and then she called us in. No, they go through those files before they call you in there. They already know what you brought and what you didn't bring. We did that in the first interview at the counter. She's acting like she don't know. Okay, it just a pissed me off, man. That's all. And then it gave a chance to be a teaching moment for people when you go in there. He said, I slept at the building and was the first one in line. Wow. Well, usually if you go there, if you go to the American Citizen Services, there's a whole different line. There's nobody in that line. When it's going to be a lot of people there, when you arrive at the embassy, it's going to be a lot of people in the morning. There's going to be like 6 lines. The 6th line is for American Citizen Services. Nobody's in that line because most of the Filipinos, they're going in there for some type of visa. And it's all different types of visas, and some of them even from employment. So there's no line that you have to wait in, you know. And they're pretty, efficient. It is America. Yeah, that's what it seemed like um, they called 2 other people before us. Well, really one with that man, but who's to know, man? I just feel good now because we had everything. You know, we just, the man's like, well, how are you going to blame the Trump administration? How are you going to blame that lady if you didn't bring everything? Dude, I can blame both of us in a conversation, just a general conversation. I blame this lady for being so petty. She would not acknowledge the pandemic, okay? She does not understand the extreme suffering that was caused by the lockdowns over here. You had to stay in place, man. You could not go to the doctor. Even though once we got the records, it showed that Maryland went January 2020, July, 2 times July 2020. I mean, that's really rare. And then she went June the 30th for her sonogram. There was no, I mean, you had to stay in place over here in the Philippines. She just acted like that didn't mean anything to her. You got to give somebody the benefit of the doubt with that. You're talking about a worldwide pandemic. We want to act like it never happened. This is what pisses me off. People act like they didn't steal 2 years from us. They did. And whatever stimulus money they gave you, you deserve that. They should have gave you more. They stopped your damn life. I don't care whether you think the pandemic was real or not. The lockdowns were real. People not being able to go to work was real. He said, wait, why won't they approve it, Cal? That's crazy, huh? Well, they're saying that we didn't show enough evidence of her pregnancy. See, I was telling the lady, she said, oh, well, see, this is what I'm telling you, that she would not acknowledge the lockdown. She said, well, do you have any pictures of you and Marilyn together when she was pregnant? I said, ma'am, listen, for the last time, because I already told her, I said, look, we were separated from March the 10th, 2020 to September 20th or something like that, 2020. because of the lockdown. I went down to Zamboanga on a Friday to visit my son. It was his birthday. His party was going to be on Sunday. I was just going to be there for the birthday party and come back. The pandemic hit, the lockdown hit. I was stuck there for 6 months. I didn't get to take any pictures or spend any time with Marilyn during her pregnancy. Certainly when she was showing, she was 2 months, no, almost 3 months when I left, but Marilyn wasn't even showing. She was little. She wouldn't even, uh, he said, Brother Cal, AI is so powerful, so intelligent, may have been flagged for past comments regarding President Trump. I don't know, but I just know that there was no feeling there. There was no human compassion. And, that's their job. They see it. They seen everything more than me. They know the extreme lengths people go through to skirt the system and scam but you got to take in consideration my past record there. None of that. Okay. So, he said, I should say they treat you that way in the States, not the Philippines. Well, actually, it's easy dealing with the United States government. That's why Merrill was so amazed at how quick things were moving. But the United States can be just as petty as the Philippines. No, I'd rather deal with the United States government than the Filipino government. Okay, as far as red tape and all that stuff, oh man, requirements and all that. It's just that I gave them a reason to say no to us, even though we had the live birth certificate, not the official birth certificate, the live birth that you signed right there in the hospital. We had Booby right in front of us. We had the medical records of the delivery. Marilyn, Laura's the mother, Summer Rae Roach, the daughter. The lady said that wasn't enough. Okay, we'll get it though. But anyway, we're giving away these visas, guys, and a lot of guys who live over here, they're not giving them away. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying don't do it to the people who are worthy of them, but then who's worthy? Well, that's something that you have to decide. We think everybody's worthy. I don't want to hear any sad stories from you men about taking a woman over there and she runs off. I don't want to hear it. Do I sympathize with you? Yeah, but I don't want to hear it because we have these discussions from time to time about why you should be so cautious in giving these visas away. You don't even know your rights. I doubt that this update did anything to protect us against the Violence Against Women and Children's Act, okay, where the woman can say, oh yeah, well, he abused me, go to a shelter, okay, and um, get the 2 year, go from the 2 year green card to the 10-year green card with no conditions. See, when you get a green card, when you first bring your woman over there, I don't care if it's your wife or your woman, your K1 or a spousal, and they get the green card, it's for 2 years. After that, you have to apply for what's called the removal of conditions. There's conditions, a lot of conditions that are, associated, with a 2 year green card. That's not a lifetime green card, but you can, uh, you have to apply for that, and it costs money to do that. But they can usurp that if you're not around, if you've already split up. They can go they normally need you to go from the green card for 2 year green card to the 10-year green card, but they're smart. They've got a system over there now. They can do it without you now. Oh, he abused me verbally or mentally. Go check in the shelter and all that. He said, I'm so glad you calmed down because if you would have done something stupid, we won't be getting these awesome videos. Make sure you dot all your I's and cross your T's next time. Yeah, I mean, I was giving them too much credit. And that's why I said I blame myself. But yeah, you can blame them and yourself. Okay. Because that's what everybody's, well, one sentence you say you're blaming the Trump administration, the second you're blaming yourself. Dude, you can do that in a general conversation, which is all I'm having. Yeah, I blame them for being so damn petty, so damn strict like that. Evidence of murder. You got a little girl sitting next to me, looks just like me. How did she get here? I know they've got rules, and I don't mind that, but for you guys to to don't think that I should have been upset. I'm a human being. I mean, what are you guys, perfect or something? That's why I make those videos. You know, I'm showing you inside life over here in the Philippines and things that can happen. You don't take that stuff and then use it against me. I mean, that's how ignorant some of you guys are. He said the new law states that you can revoke the green card. Have you missed the update? Okay, this is what I'm saying. They're gonna revoke the green card anyway, dude. Okay, you ain't gonna revoke nothing. You don't have the power to revoke it. The government can revoke it. I guess you can ask, request that the green card be revoked. You don't have the power to revoke nothing. Okay, no, I didn't miss no updates. But that's not even the the uh the topic today, KE. The topic is don't even get yourself in that screwed up position to begin with. This is what we're talking about. But you guys, y'all want to be the smartest one in the room. Oh, I'm smarter than the vlogger. We're not even talking about that. We're talking about we're trying to protect you from getting into that situation to begin with by giving by giving a visa to the wrong person, KE. Did you miss something? I think you did. Y'all too busy on here trying to argue with people instead of have a conversation. I'm trying to help you not even get to the point where you have to revoke it. I didn't miss nothing. You ain't read nothing. You're not a lawyer. You ain't read through all of that. You're going by what somebody said. You guys are too smart for your own good. That's why you end up getting your head busted. We're talking about giving a visa away to begin with. Y'all giving it away too freely. That's why you have to end up revoking a green card. What must the story be for you to do that? Okay, and then KE, since you're so goddamn smart, it's going to be your word against hers. You got to prove it. You can't just call them people because the lady, she stopped giving you sex. Now all of a sudden you're going to call up and say, yeah, I want to revoke this green card. Man, the system don't work that way. It would be a bottleneck, man. We'd have so many cases in there. It'd be years before they even hear your case. You guys are so smart, man. Y'all too damn smart. No, it ain't no new law. It ain't no new law. It's a policy update. Yeah. But like I'm saying, we're trying to protect you from getting to that point. Okay? Nothing's really changed. How many gun laws do we have on the books? But every time there's a mass shooting, which by the way, there's been a lot over in America. There's been a lot of mass shootings over here lately. They put another gun law on the books. It doesn't change anything. It's not going to change these policy updates. This is content creation, which I applaud the guy. That video's got like over 150,000 views right now. That's what he's supposed to do. He's supposed to make it interesting. That's giving out information and making people click on it, but it's not going to change anything for you. It doesn't stop you from coming over here choosing the wrong woman, giving the visa away to the wrong person. It's not going to do anything for you. And then when you get her over there, it's going to be your word against hers. We're saying, don't give it away in the first place. Why don't you? Okay, listen to this. If y'all think I'm crazy, okay. Um, if the U.S. Embassy has a policy on granting visas, then don't you think you should have some type of policy, some type of requirement, instead of just giving these visas away like we do so freely? Do you have some type of checklist other than, oh, she opens up her legs and gives it to me anytime I ask her? Oh, she's nice looking. Oh, she said that she was going to do this and that for me. Don't you think you should have some type of requirements? Or maybe we be together. Let her play the long game if she wants to. Well, you're going to play the long game then if it's a game. I'm not just going to give it to you all of a sudden, because that's what they will do. I'm not just talking about in the Philippines. I'm talking about everywhere the women want these visas. The minute they lay down with you, they start talking about, yo, what you gonna do for me? What's your plans for me? That's translates into, when are you gonna apply for that visa and take me to your country? That's what that means. He said, I have my back to the US. I had my back to the US rude awakening when one of my co-workers said he's happy that Trump wants to federalize DC. I said, why doesn't he federalize that town in Texas that had the shooting? Yeah, it's crazy, right? You can't. Okay, I will criticize all the administrations because I don't agree with anything any of them do, because they certainly don't have my best interest. If it's really going to help the people of the United States, then I'm all for it. But if it's only going to help that clique, which is what's been the uh, the whole situation lately, then I'm not for it. I don't care who it is. Okay, but when you come and talking about reversing Black history, putting up Confederate statues again, and all of that, and doing all the crazy stuff against Black people that Trump does, yeah, I'm going to speak out about it because that's my constitutional right. I'm not afraid of him canceling my YouTube channel or what, flagging me or whatever it is. Y'all too scared over there. Y'all let that man do anything. All these administrations do something, and you don't do anything. You're afraid, oh, I'm going to lose my job or whatever it is. Yeah, he said, what's my plans for me? He said, my plan is to get the pussy. Yeah, but that's what they're going to do. We don't have any type of requirements. But yet the United States Embassy, which knows much more about fraud and everything when it comes to visas and everything, they do. They put you through a strenuous examination. You can't just go in there and apply for a visa. It takes you out. Right now with the lockdowns, and it made it held up the system, man. What used to be 3 to 6 months is now 9 to 12 months. I've got a buddy now who got married over here. Hell, they told him that he won't even get the first interview for 15 more months, and they've already been married for 4 or 5 months. But you'll come right over here and start the process. I've seen people do it. 3 days. One guy, 3 days he was over here. She rocked his world, and he went back and applied for the visa. So many people have done it for 2 weeks. Hell, you give a woman here 2 weeks with some of you desperate ass, thirsty, dry ass men, and boy, you go back home a new man. You're not even the same guy you came over here. You're like a damn robot. Yeah, Frank is crazy. Yeah. But that's what they're going to do. But we have no stipulations. It's all about love, you know. And I'm not picking on everybody, because the overwhelming majority of people, they come over here and they make the right choice. You know, they found somebody that they love, they trust, and they care about, and they say, okay, I want to spend the rest of my life with you or whatever it is. It's my turn, so I'm going to apply for the visa. But it's far too many of us who are just giving these visas away, man, for nothing. Like they have no value because they don't have any value for you. You take it for granted. You think it's just something that for you to give away. You don't understand. People are chomping at the bit. Okay, remember the last live stream when the guy said, I think it was Young Fresh Global Travel. He said that girl, that vlogger that's in Arkansas now, she's complaining and wants to come back home. I said, dude, that's content creation. That woman don't want to go back to that damn squatters area, the province that she comes from. She knows the value of that visa. Okay, because 2 days later, she makes a video about how much she loves, the reason she loves living in America. It's all content creation for a lot of people. But to think that they're going to change, they're going to trade in that visa to come back to the Congo or South Sudan or the Philippines or one of these other places, Colombia, and one of them Fratellos in Brazil, you're crazy. Just because you don't know the value of the visa don't mean anything. He said he told me that he engaged with her after 2 months. Well, trust me, guys, you give a Filipina 2 weeks with the thirst, and it's a done deal. You know, I hate to tell you that I met a guy at the embassy, and I never had so much empathy and compassion for any expat as I have for him. Because he comes up to me, we're in line. Before we even go in the embassy, he says, hey, you look familiar. He said, don't I watch you on YouTube? I said, yeah. He said, what's your name? Sunshine something? I said, yeah. And he just started volunteering information with me. He has these two hideous looking women with him. I mean, you couldn't, I wouldn't pay Curly to lay down with him. And I'm not talking about people. I'm just telling you, this is my opinion. They were ugly. These were ones on a scale of 1 to 10, both of them. And he just started volunteering information to me. He said, man, I said, hey, how's it going? Just general talk. He said, man, not going so good for me. He said, I sold everything, came over here. Now I'm damn near broke. I've lost it all, he said. He said this to me within the first 30 seconds I meet him. And I'm like, well, what happened, man? General way, what happened to you, man? He said, yeah, just all these old, he's in Angeles City, by the way. These bar girls and women and scammers and everything. He said he sold his house, he sold everything to come to the Philippines in February. And now here it is August, and he's lost everything. I mean, you could see the stress in his face. Okay. And I was like, and you can ask Merle, I asked him that. I said, well, I thought you said you watched my channel. If you watch my channel, you wouldn't be in this situation. But remember, you give a woman, you give these Filipinos, man, an inch, they're going to take a yard. They know what to do, man. I feel so sorry for this guy, man. I mean, he just looked like a good guy. He said he came over here with $140,000 in February, and now he's down. He said 30 to 40. I doubt he got that much, but he was honest, okay. And I just felt so bad for him, man. And Merlin said when he got up and went to the window, she heard the two girls talking about it. Yeah, he still got money and blah, blah, this and blah, blah, that. Because I told him, I said, man, I don't think, and they're sitting right next to him when I said this. I said, I don't think Angeles City is the right place for a newbie, not somebody who's really thinking of coming over here retiring. Yeah, yeah, man. But this guy was a good guy, man. You could see it in his face. He just came over here, and man, even his SRV and his passport, the bar girl stole it from him. He said that's why he was there. He was getting a new passport. And the SRV is going to take a certain amount. He said because they found out it had value. He told them it had value, so they took it. And I was like, wow. He said, I just shake my head every time I watch the video. But this guy was a good guy. I promise you, man. I felt so bad for him. And then you see these two women with him, like, they're going to take whatever else he's got, whatever he's got left. They see he's a broken man. It's like buzzards circling, you know. You on his last leg and they circling, man. They're going to come in for the kill. And this is why I do the videos I make. This is why I give y'all my real life information over here. Yeah, I'm naive. Yeah, the haters is out there. I'm an easy pickings for them. But I probably saved a lot of men with this information. Not enough, because if one guy loses his savings over here, that's too many, man. Go on the Philippine Annex. See, they do a service for us, but we look at it some other way. They telling you these stories, man. They got receipts. They're showing you videos of these people struggling over here, going broke and everything like that. But we won't listen. We think, oh, it's not going to be me. It's always the other man. No, it's going to be you if you don't know what you're doing. This man sold everything. Imagine coming to the Philippines. Now, he's got a pension, he said. Yeah, he said, I do have that. Because he's 50, I think he said he's 53. But I promise you, man, he looks 73. Oh, the stress on this guy. He's got to get out of Angeles City if he has any chance of surviving. Okay, he's gonna have to get out of Angeles City. He's 53. Because I thought he was gonna say I'm, 69. Dude said I'm 53. Man, the stress was all on him, man. He lost all that money, man. I would be sick. And these women look like buzzards. They look like two damn buzzards. What they look like. Like they just ran out their last hit of meth, Shabu, and they looking to re-up off of his pockets. Because when he was bringing us money to count, because you got to pay for the passport there. Oh, they just looking at the money. They looking at counting every bill. It's like, guys, but y'all won't listen. Y'all think we don't know what we're talking about. Hey, Lawrence, thanks for that super chat. He said, Cal, thanks for the valuable information, man. I appreciate it. We just having a conversation, Lawrence. If I can help one person avoid the horror and enjoy a great retirement over here, or vacation, or whatever it is in the Philippines, because it's here to be had. That's what I'm on here for. But we won't listen. We giving these visas away. We coming over here, making these promises, making these deals. The guy said, I sold my house. He said, I sold everything to come over here and live in paradise. He said, now I'm broke. I've lost it all, he said. He said that to me within 30 seconds of meeting me. And you could just see the look on his face. It was a blank look. Like, I've seen that look so many times when I was getting high out there. If you get your paycheck, and you Nino Brown, you giving orders, go get this, go get that. You got a big stack of crack over here on the side. Then as the night wears on, all the crack's gone. All the money's gone. You doo-doo brown now. Nobody cares about you. Nobody's listening to what you say. Nobody even cares that you in there. As a matter of fact, it's time for you to leave. The party's over. They start yarning. Oh, what you gonna do, man? This is the look he had on his face. That's why I felt it. If I could have did some kind of magic and reverse the time and give him back his money and say, look, man, either go home, because that's what he said. He said, I wish I could turn back the time. I can't do it and have all my money back. He said, because I can't even move back to the United States now. He said, I can't afford to live there. He poured his whole story out to me, man. I'm like, dude, it's too late. You should have did that at first. But there's no hope for him. There's no hope. If you're listening out here right now and your plans is to be boots on the ground to land in Angeles City, man, you better have a rescue party waiting for you. There's so many good guys up there in Angeles City that can guide you, man, and help you get settled. Don't depend on them women up there to do it. They're gonna strip you, man, naked. Dude was in a bad shape, man. And they still hovering around him. Merlin said the minute he got up to go pay for, they call you up to the window. They're talking, yeah, he still got money. And yeah, we don't believe it's gonna happen to us until it does. And I'm not laughing at him. Okay, I'm not even laughing with him, man. My heart goes out to him because he already knew. He's sitting there with like this. I'm in one chair, then it's this buzzard in the next chair, and then it's him, and then the other buzzard. And he says, I can't even go back to the United States now. I can't afford it. I can't afford to live there now. I was like, well, do you have a pension, man? He said, yeah, I do have that. I said, well, how much money you got left? He said about 30 or 40,000. Because remember he had to pay, I forget how much he paid for his SRV. I think he said 10,000. Okay, he went that route. He said they wouldn't accept the military one, but because he paid 10,000, if you were in the military, but you didn't qualify for that special visa, you do have the one where you can pay 10,000 instead of 20,000. But yeah, he lost everything. He told me in a matter of months. Okay, he may be on suicide watch. But at 10 o'clock today, guys, we're going to be a couple of us over here at the Starbucks. If you in, I don't want to say Metro Manila, but Manila City proper, because Metro Manila encompasses everything: Cavite, Quezon City, and all those places. I'm saying if you're in here in Manila, the city, and you want to stop by, I'll be there for about an hour, man. We're just gonna chop it up a little bit, man. Drink coffee, man, because I'm gonna meet a good friend down there, man. He's a good guy. He's right across from the embassy, right on the corner. You ain't gonna have any problems. But yeah, we came up with this topic because August 1st there was this policy update. A man, a U.S. citizen, no longer guarantees permanent residency. Well, it never did. But if you go watch the video, he's saying, yeah, now passport bros are going to be wanted all over the country because now you got, the cards is in your hand, as if to say, it's okay to give away that visa. You got some protection now, which good luck with that. Okay, good luck with that. And I got from that video that he's encouraging you to go ahead and do it. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm telling you, no, hold your horses. Okay, it's going to be a problem. Okay, whether you can get her deported or not, it's going to be a problem. You don't even want to get into that. You don't even want to step in that pile of shit to begin with. First of all, just know how valuable the visa is, man. I mean, do anybody in here really understand the value of a U.S. visa right now in 2025? If you don't, just cut on YouTube or cut on the television, and they're going to give you an education on how valuable it is. It's not something for you to just throw away because you have that right to do it. Just like they have stipulations, you should have stipulations. And if you're that damn thirsty and desperate and dry, okay, you shouldn't be fooling in certain places. Now, I'm going to tell you that. You're a grown-ass man. You certainly shouldn't be in Angeles City and different countries where these ladies they know what they're doing. Okay, they know what you want. Somebody put it in the comments. They said that box is powerful. It really is. And you're going to find yourself, man, in a bad situation. So number one is know how valuable that visa is. Number two, know your rights. When it comes to bringing a woman over there, anyway, you don't know. All you know is, okay, I can give this woman a visa. Know your rights now. The guy, he said a policy update. He's not a lawyer. You're not a lawyer. If you're really serious about that, then get a lawyer and find out, what's really going on when I give a woman a visa, a man a visa, and bring him to my country. It's more than you just going through that application process. But that's all we look at it as. That's just an application process. And then when things go wrong, you think all you got to do is pick up the phone and call Homeland Security. Well, they're busy as hell. Trump got ICE and Homeland Security, man, on they toes, man. They busy as hell. He's busy. Listen, if you listen to him, he's busy chasing down criminals and thugs and cartel leaders. He ain't got time to be looking at your little bitty ass. Oh, you bought the wrong woman over here, and she ran off. And how they gonna find her? Even if you are in the right and she's in the head wrong, how they gonna find her? They just gonna wait until they pull her over or something, or a traffic ticket or something. And your heart's still gonna be broke. But that update doesn't mean for you to go out and give more visas away. And that's where y'all taking it. That I can, I don't even have to be cautious anymore. I can be just as ignorant now. I can be more ignorant because Trump's going to protect me over there. He put it in that new law. It's not going to happen, guys, okay? If anything, use more caution. U.S. visa is a very valuable commodity. It means one thing to you and one thing to the woman. So why do we give it away, guys? Put it over here if you give away a visa and it backfired on you, or it didn't work. Do you regret it? Should you have done more research? Should you have been more patient? What mistake did you make? Did you choose the wrong woman? What was it? Everybody's got some mistakes. Yeah, he said January 6th, Taco Man didn't call the National Guard. Yeah, in Washington, D.C., by the way. It's just so hypocritical, but if you talk to any of his followers, they're going to have an excuse for that. I don't even want to talk about it anymore because it's only going to give you a headache. Okay? Just let time run its course. Okay? Just stay out of trouble, stay out of their way, and you'll be okay. He said, do y'all understand the level of tricking you have to do to blow 80% of 120,000 in less than 6 months in most Southeast Asian countries? He had 140,000, he said. But he's in Angeles City. A lot of it, remember, they take advantage of our sympathy. Americans are very sympathetic. But yeah, it really doesn't take a whole lot. Okay, when we give it away in the big chunks that we give it away, W Secrets of Success. I'm not downplaying what he did. That is a lot of money in 7 months. Now, really 6.5 months. That's a lot of damn money. And he should feel bad. He should be sick. He should be depressed about it. But if I were him, I'd take that 30 or 40,000. I'd get the hell out of here. But obviously, there's something that's keeping him there. He did say he paid his condo up, for a whole year. He said, but after that, I don't know what I'm going to do. Dude, you need to head back home. It's okay that your plan didn't work. Go back to the lab, draw up another plan, and come back. I mean, what's so wrong about that? I wouldn't go broke over here. That's what I told him. The worst place to go broke is in Southeast Asia because nobody's gonna have any um, sympathy for you, and there's very little help for you over here. Okay, but I'm telling anybody who's watching this, he's never been to the Philippines, by the way. This was his first time coming to the Philippines. If it's your first time coming to the Philippines and your destination is Angeles City, man, you need a welcoming party, and it shouldn't be a woman. It should be experienced expats, man, up in Angeles City. I can give them that. That's why I put Angeles City at the top of the list because of that. But it's also the top of the list of ways for you to get tricked and lose your money in a very short period of time. But he claimed that he was watching my channel. I said, dude, you wasn't listening. You probably just seen my face come across your screen. And you couldn't be listening to my channel and get yourself in that sort of situation. Certainly not with the women he was with, guys. You know, I'm like, man, look, I'm not a 10. Okay, but I know the difference between a nice looking woman, attractive woman, and a buzzard. He was with two buzzards. Okay. I'm just gonna tell you how it is. He couldn't have chose two worse looking women to be with in all the world, let alone the Philippines. All these beautiful women here. Man, you know what you could get for 140,000 here? You could get a 20. You could get a 20 piece over here for 140,000. This dude's selling for two buzzards. Together, they not even one. He said, yeah, Cal, she can blend in with millions of other people in the same boat. But yeah, I think we need to take a little bit more time uh, in choosing women, man. I mean, this guy, both of them together didn't even make a one. I mean, I just kept looking at him like, dude, are you really with these two? You got these from Angeles City? The Angeles City that everybody talks about online where all the damn pieces are? This is the best you could do with 140 grand? Man, this is crazy. That was crazy. What them young guys say? That's crazy work. That's crazy. What he had. But I'm not trying to make light of his situation, man, because I know he was sick. Yeah, 140 grand. Cash, cold dollars, man. And they took him for granted. They took everything he had, even his SRV card and his passport, because they knew it had value. And I guess they were going to try to extort him. But he said, "No, I'm going to the U.S. Embassy. It's going to take a while to get that damn thing, too." He said, "They say life's a marathon, not a race." Well, I wish we would look at it like that over here, Cisco. That's a great way to look at it when you move overseas. To take your time, man. But we come out of the gates like it's 100-meter dash. Not realizing, man, imagine trying to run that fast. You know how fast they run in a 100-meter race? Try to run a marathon that fast. You're going to give out, man. It's a marathon. You know, pretty soon somebody stops him and be like, dude, it's not a 100-meter dash. It's a marathon. Slow down. Man, it's crazy. What's up, Sperling Edwards? But is anybody giving away the visa, man, and had, any uh, regrets about it? He could save himself. He got a pension at 30 and saving. Some guys just have a pension. Yeah, but he's still doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. You know, they call that insanity. That's what I told him. I said, dude, you need to get out of Angeles City. If you ever considered anywhere else, certainly like Cebu or somewhere like that, let that 30 grand work for you. But I could just see, he just had the look of, disgust. He had basically given up, and I don't know. He just uh, he won my sympathy, man. That's all I can tell you. I haven't seen anybody in worse situation than that. He says, "Are you going to have your meet and greet, Manila?" Well, I don't know. I'm eventually going to have one, but today we're just hanging out for a little while. Drinking coffee. Just catching up, really. Right across from the embassy is easy because later on we're going to Mall of Asia, and we got lunch with a friend of mine and his family. Well, really lunch, I guess, because it'd be about 2 o'clock. But this is not a meet and greet, Raymond. It's just like a meetup. He said, "Damn, Angeles said he got him. I think that's a place to visit. I don't know about living there." Well, you got some Vikings up there, man. You got some real tough expats up there who know the ropes. You don't have to go up there and be a victim. But remember, we come here in secret. We're hiding. We don't want anybody to know we're in the Philippines or Thailand or whatever it is. So we're not trying to meet anybody. We don't want anybody to know what we're up here doing. So we get involved in all this stuff. And we end up in a jackpot situation, like what he did. Now he's like, pondering all his decision making. He said, "You can get an SRV now if you're 40 now. Yeah, it's going to cost you 30 grand. I wonder if you qualify, but now you're not going to qualify for that special. That's a special RV for you, but it's 30 grand, I believe." And most people don't even take advantage of that SRV. They get it just so that they don't have to leave the Philippines. They don't understand with an SRV, you can go to school, you can work, you can own a business, but they don't take advantage of that. All they do is, okay, I got it, so I don't have to leave the Philippines. I can go and come anytime I want. Well, as a tourist, you can go and come anytime you want. you know, he said, "Sounds like he had a plan but got off track." Well, what Mike Tyson said, we all have a plan until we get hit in the mouth. Coming all this way, I don't know if he really had a plan, honestly. Yeah, I had to come off early today out of the town because I've got something to do at 10 o'clock. Maryland's at the Gino. He said, "Calvin's going to be living on the streets before the end of the year. He's a casualty. There's no help for him because he just won't listen." Well, I don't even know. I don't even know if he even reached out for help. He said he watched my channel. But the fact that he can admit that he's made some mistakes, that's the start. He's not in denial. I mean, y'all don't understand. It caught me off guard. Because I'm just standing in line and say, "Here's Summer Ray." They call Booby's name. "Stand here." So he come and said, "No, I was here first." He talking to the guard. They say, "Hey, what's your name?" He gives him his name. And then he just started talking to me. He said, "Yeah, aren't you the Sunshine something? Yeah, I watch your channel. I recognize you." And I said, "Hey, how you doing? How long you been there?" And he said, "Man, I'm not doing good. I've lost everything." That's the first thing he said to me. "I've lost it all. I've been here since February and everything's gone," he said. And I said, "Well, damn, how'd you lose it?" He said, "These go scamming women." He said, "Women and girls and scammers and, you know, And he just started telling me his story, man. That's how I knew it was real. And I just looked at him, man. He took on a whole different demeanor. His whole expression changed. And he's with two buzzards. I'm like, dude, you ain't gonna win. Yeah, but you always the damn exception, AC Knight. And no matter what I say, you're the exception. And I wouldn't doubt that you were good there because I got a lot of friends in Angeles City who are good. But it don't matter what I say, you were one of those guys who said in the comments, oh, you blame the administration and then you blame yourself. Yeah, you can do that. I blame the officers for being so damn petty. Okay, not having a heart, not being out of touch, not realizing that the lockdowns over here were a whole different thing than what they were in America. Because I asked, I said, were you over here? Okay, because it was during the Trump administration. She said, no. Well, how would you know? You couldn't understand that we had a stay in place policy. You could not leave. It's not like, you're not going to have a prenatal appointment every month. You got to realize we're in San Carlos City, so Maryland's doctor was locked down in Cebu. She wasn't trying to listen to that. She wasn't hearing that at all. They're out of touch. So I blame them, but I blame myself for giving them too much credit, to thinking, they would understand that. They don't give a damn. So that's why I blame myself. That, I should have took the time to look through them papers and be like, no, Maryland, this ain't gonna get it. But I just, we're in a haste to get here on time. She had a stack of records like this. I was like, okay, that's it. Because that's what my son's mother had put together. The same stack of papers, I'm thinking. So that's why I blame myself. You can blame both of us. But yeah, AC Knight, you're always the exception. Okay? I'm scared of guys like you. You're too perfect. You don't do anything wrong. You probably when you wipe your ass, you probably get all the shit the first time you wipe it. Guys like you are full of it, man. I don't even pay you guys no attention, man. The good you could do, you blow it because you're too perfect. You got to be honest, man. People go through stuff. We struggle. We fall. We fail. We turn left sometimes when we should turn right. But you guys are always doing the right thing every single time. We were talking about divorce. Remember we were talking about that? All you guys got on here, knowing good well you've been married before. Talking about, our pickers are broke. Now all of a sudden everybody's picker works. AC Knight is one of those guys, his picker's never been broke. Let him tell it. He says, there's always hope with God. Well, which God? Okay? That's what you got to start out with. Which God? Yeah, I mean, it's not, like I said, you are the exception, AC Knight, and I tip my hat to you. He said, why did he sell everything? Some of these guys lose their mind when they come over there. Yeah, because, that's something that you have to ask him. Was he wrong? No, because a lot of people, we struggle in America right now. And, maybe he said, I had enough. I'm ready to leave. I want something different. But I just think that he doesn't realize what was waiting in Angeles City. And a lot of men don't realize that. There's some players up there, man. Swimming, man, can you imagine what the life of a bar girl must be? Could you get any hardened than a bar girl and go through all the stuff that they go through? Do you really think they got sympathy, man? They're great actresses, though. They good looking. A lot of them are good looking. Not the two he had with him, but they're good looking, so they can easily reel you in and make you think they've got your best interest. Only the minute you go to sleep, they rob you blind. The smartest guys get taken. When I lived in Cebu, I had a neighbor. He was from Louisiana. He comes from China. He had lived in China for like 10 years. He was teaching English and stuff there. He moved to the Philippines. He goes to the bar, gets two bar girls, wakes up the next day, 250,000 pesos gone. They took him for 250,000 pesos. This is in 2010. That's a lot of money now because he let his guard down. He went to sleep thinking he can, trust these women that he just met. Yeah, so he got hit in the mouth. Like Mike Tyson said, we all got a plan until we get hit in the mouth. He got hit in the mouth. He says, why do some expats pick the weakest, most unattractive Filipinos? Well, it's all subjective. Maybe in his mind, they're good looking. But those women he had with him, they were tore up from the floor up. Those are the worst two looking bar girls I've ever seen in my life. They had to have been freelancers. But it just goes to show you there's somebody for everybody. Wait. They can come back from the gym. No, it wasn't there. But I'm the only one, man, of the guys who have some type of following that even talk about real life stuff over here. Everybody else, you know, they don't talk about this kind of stuff. It's always about the condominium and let's get an SRV, which all that is good. But at some point, you really got to talk about what's going on around you. Because we take for granted that these men have it all together when they get over here. All they got to do is know where to get the apartment and how to get around. That's a lot to learn over. It's a steep learning curve in the Philippines, man. But we take it for granted because you see so many people over here and they're doing good because they're not telling you the truth. They're not telling you it's a steep learning curve over here. That you got to be patient. It's just like Cisco said. It's a marathon over here. We come over getting off the plane and running like we run the place. Excuse me. Well, no. He said after listening to you, Angeles City is a place I don't want to visit. No, it's not like that, Raymond. Angeles City's way up here as far as expatriality, in my opinion. But I've been over a long time because I see what it offers. It's got a great expat community for real. It's knowledgeable expats up there that can teach you everything you need to know about the Philippines. They got, Western food, big malls, they got everything up there. Excuse me. But for somebody who doesn't reach out and take advantage of those uh, people up there and the resources that's available to them, it can be a nightmare. But no, you do want to go up there and visit. It was a spectacle for me to go down Walking Street because I can't work on the clock. I was with Maryland. We went down there with a couple of guys after the meet and greet, just walking around. But Angeles City has a lot to offer. Clark, man, have you ever been up there? That Clark, man, in that area over there, you think you're in America. It's really nice, man. But if you just go right in Angeles City and you get caught up in that game, because there's a guy who came to my meet and greet. He said, "Cal, I was like that." Because I told him, I said, "Man, when we got to Angeles City, it was early in the morning, and man, it was guys walking up and down Walking Street like they were zombies, man." And he's like, "Cal, I was like that at first." He said, you just don't know what you're going to run into. He said, there's too much excitement and everything. You're spending all that money and stuff. And some people have more money than others. I'm pretty sure he was Nino Brown when he got there. With 140,000, he probably had 20 pieces, a couple of 20 pieces. But as his money started to dwindle and everything, now he's Doodoo Brown. And now he's like, look what I can get. I can only get these now. He said Manila's turning into what, Patia, but without the good infrastructure. We know Manila has a lot of great spots, man. If you come to the Philippines and you really want the nightlife and all that stuff, Manila's the place, the big malls and all that. But it's congested. It comes with a whole lot. I mean, it's one of the most congested cities in the world. Q. It's not just a regular city. So everywhere you go, there's going to be traffic. Everywhere you go, there's going to be people. I love to visit here, man, because it's just so much to do here. It gives you a break from a place like St. Carlos City, but it's not somewhere I would want to live. I couldn't deal with the traffic. But it's a great jumping off point, because it's got the ports here, it's got the airport, it's got the buses. You can get to and fro now. He said all night parties ain't for me anymore. Yeah, you just, what happens, you get to drinking with them women, man. You let your guard down, you go to sleep, you don't realize, man, they rob you. He said, sounds like Angeles City is like the Vegas Strip, like people don't realize there's more than the Strip there. Yeah, and Walking Street is just really a small part, even though it's a big money maker there, it's really a small part of that. It's a tourist attraction. But it really is more to it. Angeles City is not that far from Baguio. Um, like I said, the Clark, Subic Bay, and all those places. But you better know what you're doing up there. It's a lot of people are thriving in Angeles City. But if you don't know what you're doing, and they go there because it's American, there's a lot of Americans up there. It's like it's Western as one of the most westernized, I would say, cities in the Philippines. You can't go 5 feet without bumping into a foreigner. And they know where can I get the best food? Where can I get me, decent rent and all of that? That's what Angeles City is good for. But if you just go up there by yourself, you're not trying to meet anybody, you're not trying to ask any questions, you're going to try to do it on your own, man. That's a steep learning curve. And, he learned the hard way, man. But not just him, a lot of people. It's a lot of broke people up there, man. That's one thing you're going to see, too. I mean, you see foreigners with signs, man. And it's like, man, what did you do that you carrying a sign in the Philippines? You know, begging. But they don't listen, man. They don't listen to people. They think that you don't know what you're talking about. He said, believe it or not, those women are wolves in sheep's clothing. They are. Imagine their background. Imagine the trauma that they've been through. They're looking for victims. They're looking for the payback. Somebody's gonna pay. Okay? And it's these people who they just aren't looking, they don't see it coming. They just see some little beautiful, attractive young woman, and she lures them in with that. He said, I'm talking about Angeles City, Pattaya, and places like that. Those places are for your entertainment only, not for your future wife. Yeah, you can't tell people that. It's a lot of guys, even vloggers, who are married to, I'm talking about real bar girls. You know, when I made the video about bar girls make good housewives, I wasn't talking about an actual go in there, get a bar girl, and marry her. I was saying that you can't tell the difference between a bar girl and a regular Filipino when they're not at work. Okay, when they put on the same clothes, they eat the same foods, they come from the same culture. That's what the point was. It was just really, you know, people sometimes they just you can't choose your audience, so they really don't understand what you're talking about. You know, I took a lot of flack for that, which I didn't care because I knew what I was talking about. They're saying that, oh, I'm advocating, and you got people that are still out here now saying that I advocate marrying bar girls. No, I don't. I'm saying that you better be careful because you can't tell a bar girl from a regular woman over here unless she tells you, and you'll end up marrying a bar girl. But yeah, they are wolves in sheep's clothing, but some of them are wolves in wolves' clothing. Okay, you know they're exactly what you think you're seeing. Hey, welcome back to the Philippines, Jamie. I saw you made that post that you were coming, so you must have arrived this week. I saw on your Facebook you said you would be there, man. And you got a good setup, man. I think he does half and half. You know, you got a hell of a job too, man. You be putting the, I mean, this guy, I don't know what are those engines you be putting together, man? I mean, big ass engines. What are they for? Look like they for some type of ships or something. But yeah, welcome back to the Philippines. I know you happy to be back with your woman. He said Manila's way too crowded for me. Yeah, it's not for the meat, man. You know, but it's expat alley. I mean, you come to Manila, you won't miss a beat if you're coming from Chicago or one of those places. And that's what a lot of people need when they come over here. You know, you don't want to go straight to the province. Eventually, if you want to move there, once you got your legs underneath you and everything, yeah, but excuse me, you don't want to come straight to, you don't even want to come to a place like St. Carlos City for real. That's not the first place I went to. I lived in Cebu, man, for 2 years. You know, I lived down in Zamboanga. Zamboanga is expat alley. It's got the airport. It's got the immigration. It's got the big malls. It's got other expats, okay? That's what makes expat alley. So I had a smooth transition into the Philippines. I didn't just go to San Carlos City. I don't think I would have made it if I'd have went straight to San Carlos City. I wouldn't even have knew what I had. Yeah, it's good food in Manila. This is the you know the introduction that you need to Cebu, Manila, Angeles City, Subic Bay, Davao, General Santos, Cagayan de Oro, Butuan, Dumaguete, of course, um, Zamboanga. It's Expert Alley. But remember, it's a marathon, guys. It's not a sprint. As long as you understand that, guys get off the plane, man. It's a marathon. They take off running like they're Carl Lewis or somebody, Usain Bolt or somebody, man. The slower and more cautious you are when you come to the Philippines, the better off you're going to be in the long run. You're certainly going to have that money that you're going to need. And when you got money, you got options. If you ain't got no money, man, you ain't got no options. The more money, the more options you got. You can say, okay, I'm tired of Angeles City. It's not working for me. I can move to Cebu. But if you done shot your load, you ain't got no damn money, what you stuck in Angeles City. Manila, wherever you are, wherever bad situation you in. Start introducing yourself to people. Getting to know some of these guys, man. That can show you the ropes. But we sneaking over here. He said, hey, how did your house paint turn out? Well, as a matter of fact, we got to send them money today. They ran out of paint. So Maryland's going to do that. But yes, when we left, it was turning out good. They had already started on the wall of the gate. I'm interested to see that wall in the back. I just want that painted, even though eventually that thing's going to have to come down. The guy, he did such funky work, man. It makes me so mad when I think about it. And if you look at it straight down that wall, you can see, and it's starting to come away from the foundation, man. And I'm pissed off. I mean, if you don't know what you're doing, man, don't take the job. Even though it's a referral, that whole wall is going to have to eventually come down. You see, when we built the dirty kitchen, when we built that awning out there, he wanted to anchor it on that wall. He's like, I can't do it. So he had to anchor it on the stanchions because he said this wall is not sturdy enough. It's eventually going to fall down. And it made me mad when I heard that. And now I can see it. But I still want it to look good because I'm going to have that looking good back there eventually. See all them shoes and stuff. You see all that. See, all that's going to be gone. Eventually, I'm going to take my living room furniture I've got now. I'm going to put it back there. And it's going to be looking nice eventually. But yeah, so far so good. He does good work. He just pissed me off when he asked for that 10,000 peso advance. And see, so that's 12,500 I've given them in advance. And you're not going to believe this. He's broke. I gave him that money on Saturday. Last Saturday. Monday, he was broke. He was asking his mother for money, and I couldn't believe it. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? But it's none of my business. You're not going to get another peso till the job is done. I'm going to give you the rest of the money. But I help him because, he's a hard worker, but, man, you can't. You can't live like that over here. You can't be going through money like that in the Philippines. He said, I'm here near Clark Airport. Yeah, so it's nice up there where you are. But if was anybody coming over here, I would have to say, I would go to Angeles City just to see it. I would come to Manila to say I went to Manila. There's certain places you have to go to when you come to the Philippines. You come all the way over here. Boracay is one of them. Palawan is one of them. You have to do it, man. You come a long way, man. When I tell people to have an itinerary when you come to the Philippines, you might can get away with that with not having one in Colombia or even Brazil. But when you come all the way on the other side of the planet, you're literally on the other side of the planet, man. You better have something you trying to do, something you trying to see. This ain't a place to just come and hang out. If you're on vacation, man, go to see some of these places. He said, I saw where they had a ring of Colombian women that drug foreigners and robbed them of everything. Oh, yeah. Luckily, it hasn't gotten that bad over here, but the women are just as cunning as they are in Colombia and those places. You got to understand, man. Imagine if that's your job. Okay? And imagine a lot of them been beat up, a lot of them been raped, a lot of them men that ran off without paying. It's just, I don't put people down because You have to walk in their shoes. But a lot of them are thinking like, is this all? Look at me. I'm an embarrassment to my family. Even though a lot of them aren't. A lot of them are heroes to their family. They're looking for the payback to come up, and they don't care, man. They will rob you. He said, not to get off topic, but did you have anything different that was on your list of marriage? You mean than what he had? Well, he has some pretty good stuff on there if you looked at it. He had communication. She got to be able to communicate with me, because after a while, that gets old. Personal hygiene, man, you got to have that, man, in a woman, because a woman has a crevice, you know, that has to be cleaned. There's nothing worse than that, man. There's nothing worse than a funky woman. You know, a man, can get away with it, but a woman, man, we hold her to a higher, uh, a higher esteem. That's got to be there. Honesty, of course. But he was talking about concrete stuff too. He was talking about the intimacy clause, which, he was talking about you have to keep a clean house. You have to cook. It's not all because people's like, well, can I trust her? And all this stuff. But yeah, you gotta have some concrete things that you agree to. Because the man, I don't care where you go. This has been my experience. We're expected to do the same thing no matter where we go. They've got a list. Because it's like, oh, it don't work in the modern world. Well, we just call them standards, man. We call them expectations. And even if you don't write them down, you got to talk to the woman. She can't read your man. You can't read hers. This is where we get in trouble, man. Somebody stops doing what they said they was going to do, or they never started to begin with. Why else would you break up? Or you just can't get along. But we give them the benefit of the doubt. He said, yes, sir. I got back a couple of days ago. Yeah, I saw your post on Facebook. I follow you, man. I think it's interesting in that job you got, man. It's really interesting to me. I'm like, wow, what is he building over there? What are you building over there? If you don't mind telling us. Them are some big ass engines. I know that's what those are. He said, Calvin lives in some crazy areas I would never venture to go to. But see, Zamboanga has a history, okay? But just, all things being equal, if you go there now when things are quiet, it's just an expat alley city, you know, and you down in Mindanao, which, Filipinos are nice and hospitable anyway, but to me, the people in Mindanao are just, they're sweeter, man. They're kinder, in my opinion. I was there on and off for 10 years, man. I know what I'm talking about. You can see a difference, certainly from Manila, man, they're edgy up here, man. They're just not but I understand why. It's a whole different world up here than down there. But it's really, you wouldn't think you were anywhere different. They do have some cultural stuff in Zamboanga, you know, because they have the largest Muslim population in all the Philippines. I think it's half and half. It's about 40% of the population in Zamboanga is Muslim, but at the end of the day, they're Filipino, really. But you see different cultural stuff. The women with the what they call it, hijab. You see the men are wearing the beards, and you're gonna see that type of stuff. But other than that, man, I don't think I've ever been treated better. And it's just a lot of the food is good. because they got the big malls now. Now they've got the big malls. When I first started going there, they didn't, but it really isn't that bad. I only lived in Cebu and I lived in Zamboanga. Now I live in um, St. Carlos City. Now I did live a little bit outside Dumaguete in a little place called um, Zamboanguita. That's about 30 kilometers from Dumaguete. But I really haven't lived in it. Zamboanga it has a crazy history, yeah, because they got that sleeping giant down there, and when it wakes up, man, it's bad. And the bad guys are there. You're only a 45-minute ferry ride from Baziland, the headquarters of the Abu Sayyaf. So they're there, but they don't bother you, man. They're not going to bother you with all those witnesses around. And I've never felt as safe anywhere else than Zamboanga because there's so much military and police there, and U.S. military, everything. You feel protected, man. There, the bomb sniffing dogs. You're gonna feel protected there. But it does have a history, so you have to know that. He says, so where should a first time expat go? Well, like I said, you want to go to one of those expat alley cities. You know, Clark, Subic Bay, Angeles City, Manila, Metro Manila, Cebu, Davao, Dumaguete, Cagayan de Oro, Butuan, and these are even in Mindanao. Davao, General Santos, Zamboanga, Iloilo City, Bacolod. There's some good cities over here, man, for you to make your transition. Just because you meet a woman who lives in one of these small towns, man, a lot of guys make the mistake of moving to these small towns. They're miserable. There's nobody to talk to. There's nothing to do. It's I'm fortunate that I'm an outside person. I love nature. So that's why I don't struggle as much as some guys struggle in St. Carlos City because there's really not a lot to do there. It is, but you have to go out looking for it. Like Sapaway Island, 8 minutes away. There's got a lot of, up in the mountains, different things. You got to go out looking for it. It's not right there in your face like it is in these big urban cities. This is what you're used to. Because it's a steep learning curve, retard, not far. When you come to a place like the Philippines, it's one of the easiest places to eventually adapt to, but you're not going to get off the boat or the ship, on the plane, and settle right in. Because there's a big language difference over here that people don't seem to understand. Filipinos, man, they don't speak English over here. They can speak English, but they don't speak English. They speak their language. He said, retired, not fired. I think the Booby is a great choice. He said, I call it the gateway to the Philippines. It really is. It's certainly not Manila. But there's other places around Manila, Metro Manila, Cavite, General Trias, that a lot of expats seem to like. Quezon City, they call it Metro Manila, but it's not actually in the city of Manila. Like a friend of mine, he's gonna come and pick us up tomorrow. They live in Cavite. It's about an hour away from here, but it's considered Metro Manila. A lot of people seem to like these places. So when I talk about Manila, that's what I'm talking about, Metro Manila. Because you probably ain't gonna like the city right off the top. Yeah, pace yourself, Frank said. He said, I lived in Angeles City for over 4 years. It's a good place to start out. I lived there and never went to Red Street. There's lots of stuff to do in Angeles City. It is. He's telling the absolute facts. But for somebody that doesn't know, though, like that man, and you can get caught up over there on Red Street, they call it now. It's not Walker Street anymore. You can get caught up over there. That's why you need somebody waiting for you when you get there. They don't have to be at the airport, but once you get there, you get settled in. You need somebody you can call or text and like, look, man, I'm here. And hang out with them for a few days, man. The women are going to be there. Yes, a lot of jeepneys here in Manila, man. We were talking about that the other day, and that's what slows traffic down too. He says he's gambling, and that's another thing that's big here in Manila. See, I'm glad I don't see. I'm a recovering gambler. I haven't gambled in since I've been here. The last time I gambled was November of 2018. I'm a gambler. I don't go in casinos or anywhere near anything like that. I mean, I wouldn't even take a chance because the guy who came to my meet and greet, he said, Cal, I should have flew. He lives in Angeles City, but he went to Manila first and then flew from Manila to Dumaguete. He said, I should have flew straight from Clark to Dumaguete. I said, why? He said, because I end up losing 50,000 pesos in the casino. And I said, man, that would be me. That would be me up here. And you don't want any type of, man, you don't want any type of habit living overseas like that. I mean, really, you don't want any type of habit that's going to drain your money. Money is the key here, man. You know, of course, health, but I'm saying without money, you ain't got nothing coming, man. You don't need anything. You don't need to be smoking like a broke stove. You don't need to be drinking all hours of the day. Certainly not gambling and drugging, man. That's the worst thing you can do over here is have some habit that's holding you back. It's not letting you live your best life, man. And gambling is certainly one of them. I'm scared to death to start gambling over here because you got to understand, man. I don't really have a whole lot of money over here. Okay, just say 3,500. That's nothing to lose in a casino for me. Because if I start out losing, I'm going to start betting trying to catch up. And you never catch up. Man, that 3,500 will be gone. Imagine going a whole month, man, and you don't have nothing over here. Come on, man. Don't do that to yourself. How many times have I suggested to you guys, get yourself together first? Start working on yourself first before you move overseas. Because all you're going to do is bring yourself with you. So bring a better self with you. Instead of the guy who's gambling now and smoking and drinking, doesn't work out and all of that. Don't do that. He said, I show you get outdoor furniture for outside, especially a rocking chair for yourself. Well, we've got that, we've got that covering out there. I don't need outside uh, furniture. I want something comfortable so when people come around, certainly like early in the morning, in the evening. There's a young guy in my guest house right now, man. They're having the time of their life too. Shout out to you, Alex. Him and his girlfriend, man. You got the run of my house, man, when you're in that guest house. So they're cooking, they're grilling. You know, he gets it, man. He's from California. I was like, dude, get out of them expensive ass hotels. If you're over here, man, come on over to the guest house. Because he already got the motorcycle. He can get around. You know, and see, you feel more at home when you do that. But yeah, he's having a good time. But yeah, I want to be comfortable, man. What's up, Sir Ron? A lot? He said, what's up, Cal? Sunshine Shows crew. Good morning, evening, everybody. Sorry for sending you all those texts, Cal. Didn't know you had a live going on. Oh, that was you. Okay, yeah. I hit you when I get over here. I know he's about finished with his house. Now, he's one of the few guys, but I think he's from rural America. somewhere. He moved straight to the province. He built the house there. He built the house by himself. This guy good with his hands. He kept me updated, man. He's got a nice little house. He didn't spend all that much doing it because I'm in a condominium right now. These are studios here in Manila, and even in Cebu and all these places. I promise you, man, this place is no more than my guest house is 15 square meters. This is probably 18 to 20 square meters. And you know how much they want for these condominiums here, man. They want a lot of money for them. And see, that's another thing I would have to get used to in Manila and Cebu, really, is living in these towers, man. I can't get used to them. I don't live in them enough to get used to them. You seen when I showed you that was out my window. I'm on the 49th floor. So I don't know if I could get used to that. I'd like to talk to some people. You literally a skywalker up here, man. I'd like to talk to some skywalkers and know how do they deal with that. I couldn't get used to living in these towers, man. Certainly with the weather and stuff going on over here, the earthquakes and stuff. I'm just too far up here, man. I'm on the 49th floor. Just getting on the elevator coming up here is a ride, and then going down. And I don't know how you guys get used to it. That would be another reason why I wouldn't move to a place like Manila full time. But yeah, it's something to get used to. But hey, guys, I got to get off of here because I've got to meet some people at 10 o'clock. It's 9:30 now. Thank y'all so much for your super chat, super stickers, your thumbs up, all your support for Sunshine Shoulders. I'm going to be having a meet and greet coming up here soon. And if you ever want to know about my meet and greets, I'll put it on my community page or I'll announce it on one of my videos or my live streams. But the point is, guys, know the value of these visas. When you start thinking about giving someone a visa, do a little research first. It's more than just something you can give away. Know what your rights are once you give them to them, bring them over there. A lot of us don't even know what we're getting ourselves into when we do that. It makes us feel like, I'm the provider, I'm the protector. Look at me, I'm a big guy. They really don't appreciate it, man, like you think. The more you do, the more they want you to do. I'm telling you from experience, man. They get spoiled, but be more cautious now. Okay, so what? They got these policy updates. Yeah, you can revoke have the green card revoked and all that. Who wants the headache? You think that you're just gonna snap your finger and that's done, man? You got to have a little bit more scrutiny. If the United States Embassy puts you through the ringer to get a visa, you should put the man or woman through the ringer to get the visa. Because at the end of the day, you're responsible. And it's expensive bringing a woman or man over there. As somebody who's done it, you think, okay, my woman lived in Zamboanga. So whenever she had to do something in Manila, I got to buy the round trip plane ticket. I got to buy the hotel. I got to buy for the food. I got to pay for the fees, whatever fees associated with it. That's before she even gets approved. Then when she gets approved, I got to buy the plane ticket to America. Okay, then, because I bought mine over on the K1. Okay, now you got to pay for the green card. You got to pay for that. They don't just give it to you. Then after the green card, you got to pay for the removal of conditions. You pay every step of the way. And then if she wants to become a U.S. citizen, you got to pay for that. And man, when I was doing it in 2014, it's like $700 something. So no telling how much it is now. Know what you're getting into, guys. Know that the United States visa is a very valuable commodity in 2025. And people will do just about anything to get their hands on it. They'll tell you anything. They'll promise you the world. So take care, y'all. Stay safe. Stay out of trouble. I'll see y'all next time. Don't do anything stupid, man. Stop giving them visas away so freely. Okay? Let them earn it. There's got to be some time limit on that. I would say 2 years at least. I wouldn't even think about giving a woman a visa, because in that 2 years you're gonna see a lot about her. And I wouldn't give it away on no long LDR either. Remember, I knew my wife for 4 years before I did it, and we had lived together for 13 months in a row before our family went back and did the visa. You gotta know these people, man. Trump ain't done nothing for you. Made you think you got something going on. You ain't got nothing going on, man. It's a headache. You bring the wrong woman over there. Remember I told you the story, it's a true story, about the man who brought his wife over there. She divorced him and started dating his neighbor. Every day he got to see, and he was still in love with the woman. So every day he got to see them two together. I got to tip my hat to him that he didn't snap. Because I probably would have snapped, knowing he's in there blowing her back out. Now I done brought her all the way over here. He's enjoying the fruits of my labor. You don't want that, guys. Take care.